आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्. Okay, so welcome to the 19th session of Ramayana Kathalahari. So this Lahari is almost approaching its shore, its banks. So we started some 9 months ago, I guess. So this is the 10th month. Usually this is when the birth, the Rama conscience, or Rama consciousness should be birthed. Hopefully it will happen. Today's title, the session's title, even though reads as Kumbhakaranavadham, which is a very familiar thing, and it's a straightforward word, and no need to introduce that word, and no peculiar or important or unique introduction is required for the character Kumbhakarana. Everybody knows Kumbhakarana. He has become a popular folklore, a folk tale in across all the country. So, but the focus is not there. It's how magicians usually work. You know, you should go to a magic show. The magician would be famous for so many things. He makes us to look at one thing, but it's always something that misses the common eye. Delivering a lecture, narration is magic, and Valmiki is a great magician in this art. I say this because he has not forgotten the main points. Kumbhakarna needs to be ended. Ravana's ministers needs to be killed. They needs to be defeated, and Ravana's commanders need to be defeated. And he achieved all those things. He does not miss out on any of those details. But he also introduces few things. He infuses life into our hero. And the heroism of Rama is firmly established in the chapters that we are going to discuss today. You will see how a generation of heroes has been inspired by the story of Rama. You will see how each and every thinker, each and every poet, each and every writer who dares to call himself as a writer or a creator or an artist or whatever the fancy name that he wants to give himself, they all have been inspired by one fellow, Ramayana. One man, Valmiki, one epic, Ramayana, and one person, Rama. And that is going to be today's undertone, rather than Kumbhakarana's demise, how Rama managed to kill such a hugely popular and rigorous, vicious, beast-like creature, Kumbhakarana. It's secondary. Honestly, it is the character of Rama that is going to stand out. So we have to begin the story from where we had left in the last month. It almost seems like a long gap since we last met. So it's my responsibility to refresh the memory, because I cannot expect you to remember the story as it is. Well, I can, because I follow a book, so that's how I can pinpoint it, and I know where exactly I had stopped. So Ravana sends his two ministers, Shuka and Sarana, to get inside the heads of Sugrīva and his people. He wanted to create a mutiny amongst Vanaras. The best way to create mutiny is by dividing them. And in order to divide them, you have to go and speak to the common soldiers, foot soldiers, so that if they can revolt against their masters, then the war will be over before it begins. This was a plan that was devised by Ravana. Most of his victories in the past have been devised like this: making a deal before the actual battlefield, killing the enemy before he could muster up the courage or build an army, make strategies and win. So this has been Ravana's signature move, and he does not forget to do this here as well. The only difference is he was quite successful in his previous stints when he actually deployed this kind of a strategy. But this time the strategy backfired immensely. The thing was, the foot soldiers of Sugrīva's army, the Vanaras, they identified Shuka and Sarana. They caught them. and they brought them in front of Rama. And this was not the first time, this was the second time that Shuka was sent. Earlier, it was only Shuka. This time, Shuka was accompanied by another minister called as Sarana. Now, earlier, Shuka was only caught, and then Rama told that it's not right to hurt with his friend Sarana, and they wanted to enter into Sugrīva's army. They entered and they were caught. And once they were caught, they were brought in front of Sugrīva. Sugrīva and Rama. Now, Rama, he was very generous in this case, which is very unusual. Not every leader would appreciate this kind of generosity to his enemies, but Rama was different. He was made of a different pedigree. So Rama said that if Shuka and Sarana wants to take a look at our army, at the strength of our army, let them. He gave them a guided tour of his army. If some intruder comes into our country to know the details, to know the defensive abilities of our country, imagine what kind of a leader or how much courage does a leader require to give him all the classified information, send him back to his master, send him back to his country, and stand firmly on his ground saying that you know our strength. If you can beat us, come and meet on the ground. That was the attitude that Rama had. And this quality, this attribute has never been highlighted before in our folktale, or whenever the story of Rama is narrated in our country, they do not highlight this kind of an attribute that Rama possessed. The reason is, if the young minds get to know that there exists a way of this kind of leadership, then they will forget, they will set the bar so high. Rama has already set the bar so high for leaders, the strong leaders, rulers who rule with an iron fist. There are so many leaders, world leaders, whom people appreciate because of their courage, because the way they conduct their administration. They are fearless. They call them as fearless leaders. Where is Rama in that list? He cannot be included in that list because they all are below par when compared to Rama. This is true strength of Rama. They were not even in their formations. He had not even organized them yet. They were still unorganized for a formation. And yet he was able to invite the enemy even after they were caught red-handed. He invited them, gave them a guided tour, and sent them back with a message that this is our strength. Ab tum soch lo, if you really want to fight us or not. And when Shuka and Sarana were giving this report to Ravana, there was an old minister who belonged to the category of Vibhishana. There were still some people left in Ravana's kingdom who were willing to put some sense into Ravana. Malyavan was one of them. And when he started speaking just like Vibhishana, Ravana shushed him. He shut him down. He said, "You are an old bird. I don't want to listen to you. Why don't you go out?" And he removed him from the procedures, and he went away. And he asked his soldiers and his commanders to ensure that the city is not breached. That's all he did. He was supposed to prepare for a siege. He was supposed to stand firm. Isn't it common sense? When somebody is trying to attack you and you are staying behind a closed door, what is the best thing to do? Stay behind the closed door if you are so confident about your strength, because they have to do all the hard work because they are trying to achieve a siege. But here Ravana wanted to meet them on open field, which is again showcases his blunt stupidity in terms of warfare, in terms of engaging in battles. No king ever does that. No leader ever does that. If he knows that we are safe behind a closed wall, then they stay behind a closed wall. And they expect the attacking army to get bored. And he had that kind of all the setup. Lanka was impregnable, impenetrable. But he forgot that. He forgot that. He did not forget that. He just forego that thought from his mind. And then it was Rama's turn to ask Vibhishana about the procedures, about the structure of Lanka and how Lanka is preparing itself for a siege. If we are going to attack Lanka, it is common sense that Lanka will also be prepared. Ravana is also prepared to face us. How has Ravana prepared himself? How is Ravana going to fare against us? Do you have any idea? Before Rama could ask this question, before he could deploy Vibhishana and his trusted confidants into this task, Vibhishana had already prepared a report. So this is what makes a good leader run a good team. This is what teamwork means. You don't wait for your leader to give you commands. You prepare a report beforehand. He was ready with the report. Even before Rama could ask, Vibhishana begins to narrate that this is how Lanka has prepared itself for an attack. And even without asking you, I had sent my 4 trusted men with whom he came. So Vibhishana had sent his 4 men. And they had come back with a report. And Vibhishana is reading that report. It's very interesting. It's absolutely fascinating, because this is where strategies matter a lot. He says that the eastern direction of Lanka, the eastern gate of Lanka is protected by Prahasta. Prahasta was one of the commanders of Ravana's army. So Prahasta, the main commander-in-chief of all Ravana's army, he is protecting the east gate. The south gate is being protected by Mahaparshva and Mahodara, 2 brothers. They were also commanders of Ravana's army. So these 2 brothers, Mahodara and Mahaparshva, they are protecting the south gate. Indrajit is protecting the west gate. Indrajit Paschimam Dwaram Rakshasai Bahubharuvratah. He gives a detailed description of his entourage, or of his men who are protecting Indrajit. Vibhishana deliberately makes a point here by putting too much of onus on Indrajit, because that's a highlight. That's how you prepare a report. When you prepare a report, if you are highlighting on any one particular task or any one particular person, if you are highlighting on any one point, it sends a message to the bosses that this is where we should focus. Because you cannot give commands to your boss that, boss, you have to focus on this fellow. You cannot do that. And Vibhishana was in no mood to do that. So very gently, very subtly, he sends a message to Rama by saying that the western gate of Lanka is being protected by Indrajit. And he has hundreds and thousands of men guarding him, as well as guarding that gate. And all of them are very well trained. It's like the best soldiers of Ravana's entire army are put together in the western gate, alongside Indrajit. I mean, whether it is a good strategy or bad strategy, that is up to you. That's up to the jury members to decide. I'm not going to comment anything on that. But when you focus all your strength, the heart of your strength, if you have black commandos, if you have special commandos who have been trained rigorously only for these kind of situations, and if you have thousands and thousands of them, and if you put all of them in one gate, in one place, concentrated, along with your most important person, most valuable warrior, MVP, jaise MVW, most valuable warrior, that is Indrajit, along with them on the western gate. So this was western gate's description. And what about the eastern gate? The eastern gate is guarded by none other than Ravana himself. Uttaram Nagaradvaram Ravana Swayamasthidah. Putting himself on the borders, on the line, leading from the front is Ravana. But he is leading them from the eastern gate, from the east. It has got some thinking here. I know this might sound a bit distracted or a little bit detour, but I'm forced to mention this because Valmiki is a master in all these arts, in all these sciences. So in astrology, in Jyotisha, especially in Brihat Samhita, the Samhita part, they tell that in which direction should a king proceed if he wants to gain victory in a war. At what muhurtam should he start his journey? And from which part of army should he attack? It's not always the same. It's based on the prashna, on the exact moment. If you are going to attack tomorrow, what is the most auspicious direction through which I can approach? It's a science. It's absolutely science, which is gone these days, because nobody cares about all these things anymore, because we are surrounded by enemies from all sides. So it doesn't make any sense, and we are not attacking any enemies, because we are not Russia anymore. So we don't have that Russian mindset. We don't want to attack anyone. We want only peace, so that they can come into our house anytime, any given point of time, and butcher our children and women. That's okay. But we won't attack them. We won't destroy them. We won't remove them. And that has been the strategy of, unfortunately, our country since many years. No comments on that. Now, this was the situation that Ravana had. Ravana had formed like this. And he had Virupaksha, his another minister and commander-in-chief, protecting the middle, the heart of Ravana's army, of his entire army. The city was held together by Virupaksha. And he says that he gives a small description, a brief description of Ravana's army. You will be stunned to know the actual description of Ravana's army. He says, Gajanam Daśasahasram, 10,000 elephants were there in Ravana's army. Earlier, back in those days, the strength of an army depended on elephants. More number of elephants means the army is too strong. And Ravana had not 1,000, but 10,000 elephants. Okay. And then he had 1,000 highly equipped chariots, Rathana Mayutam, and Hayana Mayutedve, 20,000 horses, well-trained horses. Sagra Kotischa Rakshasam, and 1 lakh Rakshasas, 1 lakh foot soldiers. Sorry, not 1 lakh, 1 crore. Sagra Kotihi, 1 crore foot soldiers in his army. And this was only Ravana's favorite part of army, his personal army. This is not a count of actual Ravana's army. This is Ravana's personal army, his personal home guard. This was Ravana's personal home guard. 1 crore foot soldiers, 20,000 elephants, 10,000 elephants, and 10,000 chariots, highly equipped chariots, and 20,000 horses. This was Ravana's personal home guard. And he says, he just gives a glimpse at how much army or how many soldiers did Ravana actually had. Parivara Sahasranam Sahasram Upatishtade. For every 1,000 of them, there were thousands and thousands of other people who used to work behind them. So you multiply 1 crore into 1,000. That's how many people there were in Ravana's army. So, and he said that do not take Ravana lightly. And when Ravana fought the mighty Kubera back in those days, he had a special ops. He had a special army, which was, sorry, is this number more than the Akshavini Sainya of Mahabharata? Not really, not really. Akshavinis were much more organized. We don't get much organized number here, because he just gives a ballpark number. He just gives an approximate number, Valmiki, because he doesn't believe in the exact numbers here. Yeah, but that's okay. This much of description is enough for this story, but that required plenty more. And Akshavini required plenty more. And it was much more organized because people were skilled back then. Now, he said that during the battle between Ravana and Kubera, Ravana had 60,000 men who were very, very special to him. And out of nowhere, they came and helped Ravana during his victory over Kubera. So I'm only warning you, Rama. Vibhishana says these words to Rama. I'm only warning you. I'm not infuriating you, or I'm not saying that you are not capable to destroy Ravana's army. I'm not saying that at all. Kopaye tvam na bhishaye. I'm not enraging you. I'm just only trying to get you motivated, inspired to fight this enemy. You just need to get an idea of this enemy. That's why I have given this number. Samartho hisiviryena. I know that you are capable to destroy even the army of gods. You can destroy any army in this world. I am very sure of that. I know that you are capable of doing all those things. And still, yuddha, warfare, is always a tricky business, because there is no such thing called as Ekanta Vijaya in Yuddha. Ramayana is the first epic to say that. And it is said by Valmiki. It is said when Rama and Lakshmana fell down for the first time, which we are going to see immediately after this. Naikanta Vijayam Yuddhe. That is the statement given by Valmiki. War means you cannot expect only one army or one side to be victorious always. It never happens. Never ever happens. So there will be losses as well. So that's why I want you to be smart about this. I know you have plenty of anger against him. You want to kill him immediately. We all understand that. But you have to be careful in channelizing your anger. So here ends Vibhishana's report, and now comes Rama's strategy. How are we going to tackle Ravana's plan? He says that Purvadvaram Tulankaya Nilo Vanara Pungavaha. The best possible way to finish the Purvadvara, that is the eastern gate. The eastern gate will be attacked by none other than the commander-in-chief of Sugriva's army, the chief commander, Nila. Nila is going to head the army from the eastern gate. And he is going to fight Prahasta. That's very clear. Prahasta is going to be fought by Nila. And Angada, look how much confidence Rama shows in this young fellow. He's very important. By the end of Yuddha Kanda, there is not, I mean, the chances are very slim for those people to not fall in love with Angada. You would definitely fall in love with Angada's character, because he has been portrayed in such a way. Such a young boy, such a young leader. And he has been vested with the responsibility of the southern gate, where he will be fighting against Mahodara and Mahaparshva, 2 against 1. That's how much confidence Rama showed in Vālī Putra, in Vāli's son Angada. And Indrajit, the invincible man, where Ravana's core strength lies. He must have sent himself or Lakshmana there, isn't it? No, he sent Hanūmān there. Hanūmān will fight Indrajit from the southern gate. From the western gate, Paschima-dvara. Okay, from the western gate. And what happens in the northern gate? You remember northern gate was held by Ravana. So Rama decides that I shall be in front of this army and I shall attack the northern gate. I and Lakshmana. So Rama and Lakshmana from the east, from the northern end. So this how they strategized. And what about the middle part? Who is going to handle them? 2 commanders. You observe any successful footballing teams in this world, and you will always find that there were always 2 generals commanding the midfield. And exactly that's the plan here for Rama as well, when he says that Sugrīva, his entire strength, Sugrīva and Vibhishana, these are the 2 commanders who will stay in the middle of our army. Because you need organization. You need to improve the morale. You need to boost the morale of the people who are fighting in the borders, or fighting on the border line. And that responsibility fell on none other than Sugrīva, because he is the commander of the army. It is his army whom Rama is commanding. So his people will listen to Sugrīva. Vanaras will definitely listen to Sugrīva. So that's why he placed Sugrīva right in the middle of his army, along with Vibhishana, because you need strategies. And he believed in Vibhishana, because Vibhishana was a wise man. See, you need strength, brawn, and brain put together right in the middle of your formation. Sugrīva and Vibhishana in the heart of Rama's army, whereas Rama and Lakshmana headed from the northern gate, Hanūmān from the western gate, Neela from the eastern gate, and the southern gate was guarded by Angada. So this is how they created. And then he gives them an order, Rama, a very, very important thing that many people simply ignore. He said that Nachaiva manusham rupam karyam haribhirahave. No monkey, no vanara will take up the form of a human being in this war. Until this war ends, no vanara shall take up the disguise of a human being. Even if you are capable to do that, you're not going to do that. They are all ichadharayana. They could change, they could disguise themselves however they wanted. And Rama knew this. And he said that we are not going to deploy this kind of a strategy. That is Rama for you. Because he is an epitome of truthfulness. He's a man who embodies that truthfulness. And he did not want any disguises. He did not want any magic shows. He did not want his army or his followers, his fight to be that of people who mask themselves and call themselves as superheroes. He did not believe in superheroes. Point number one that needs to be noted for all the youngsters who are going to listen or who are listening. Rama was such a leader who did not believe in any kind of superpowers. And changing oneself from one form to another form. A normal man, because he has kryptonite, becomes a Superman. A normal man, all of a sudden in the night, becomes a Batman. No, Rama did not believe in this kind of strategy. It doesn't mean that he did not have that kind of people under him. He had plenty. He had an army of such people. Not only 10, 12, 15, or how many ever they can imagine. He had crores and crores of them. 36,000 crores was the number of Vanaras who were in that army. 36,000 crores. And he says that we are going to fight as we are. Truthful to our nature. That shows a true commander. That shows proper commanding. Okay. And then he said that there will only be 7 human beings in our entire army. Who are they? Rama, first one, Lakshmana, Vibhishana, and his 4 followers. 3 plus 4. Only 7 human beings. And the rest of you will remain and fight as monkeys. And you will not change your face and attain any superpower, use any superpower that you may have at your disposal. Such a clear mandate, such a clear cut instructions was given. So after this, they all decided that tomorrow is the day that we should start our journey towards Lanka. Nearby Lanka, there was a hill which went by the name Suvela. So they all started climbing up that hill in the predetermined formation, discipline. Okay, they followed the discipline, lane discipline, everything that we are familiar with the modern day defense systems. They all started and they all climbed that Suvela Parvata, and he saw Suvela Parvata, and it took one day, an entire day to reach there. And afterwards, they stayed that night in Suvela Parvata. And in the night, they saw how Lanka looks. They came out of their tents, they came out of their places in the night and watched Lanka. Such a quiet, beastly beauty that Lanka was. Afterwards, it was decided that at the break of dawn, they will start progressing, marching towards Lanka. It all started. And at this time, Ravana had realized that Rama and his army have already gained miles towards Lanka. So he climbed upon a balcony. He climbed upon the highest balcony of his kingdom, and he was viewing, he was looking at Rama's army, which was approaching towards him. So they all stayed there. Rama's army halted for a while because they were getting into their positions. Eastern gate, western gate, southern, northern gate. They were dividing themselves, which was some halchal was going on, some movements were going on. The commanders were very quiet. Now you have to imagine this scene, such a huge scene this is, where everyone is set, they are all calm, they are all strategizing, they are all looking, they are all gazing at each other. And it was at this moment that there was an impulsive character amongst Rama's army, which was none other than Sugrīva. He saw Ravana for the very first time. He had not even seen Ravana so far. First time he sees Ravana, he jumps away. Nobody could even recognize that Sugrīva has left us, from here. He did not give them any instructions. He did not tell them where he's headed to. He simply jumped right away and went and started fighting with Ravana. It was a fantastic duel that happened between Sugrīva and Ravana. Valmiki, by God, what a man, what a poet Valmiki is. He mentions at least a dozen of the movements that are very peculiar to duel, where two people are fighting. Mushti Yuddham, or Kushti that we call these days. When two people are involved, there are several moves which have a peculiar technical name. And Valmiki mentions at least a dozen of them. And I can give you a count. And how are they fighting? They were fighting like two cats fighting for food. Have you ever seen two lions trying to eat each other off because they are fighting for the same meat that they have captured? That's how Ravana and Sugrīva were fighting. And finally, Ravana took Sugrīva with his neck. He lifted him up like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like he lifted him up. And Sugrīva used all his strength, all his power. He jumped upon Ravana's chest. He lifted Ravana. And have you heard of somersault? Palti. Like he did that to Ravana. Everybody was like amazed at this. Nobody has ever done this. See, even Sugrīva's elder brother Vālī was not able to do this. Lift Ravana. He was a mountain. He lifted Ravana. He somersaulted him and he patak diya. And that's where this word patakna came into Kushti. All thanks to Sugrīva. He did that to Ravana. And everyone had goosebumps. Even the gods who were watching this battle, they were like, oh my God, we have never seen such a scene ever in our life. And within a fraction of a second, Sugrīva came back. He stood right next to Rama. Like, Henge, how was that? Like, hey, what were you doing? Rama was furious with Sugrīva. How can you put all our lives in danger and do something stupid like this? What if something had happened to you? Who is responsible for that? You are the commander of this army. You are not supposed to leave your station. You are supposed to stay here, boost up the morale of this army and lead them. Leading does not mean that you have to attack impulsively. You have to strategize. You have to move your men in such a way that they will achieve, because they should get a sense of achievement. It's not about you. Why did you do this kind of a thing? Sugrīva was in no mood to listen to all these things. His reasoning was, see, Tava bharyapahartaram drishtva raghava ravanam marshayami katham veera jahanam vikramamatmanaha. Knowing what I am capable of, knowing how powerful I am, how strong I am, how can I control myself after looking at the man who kidnapped, who abducted your wife, your sworn enemy? He was right in front of my eyes. It's a good thing, Rama, that I have left him for you to kill. Otherwise, I would have killed him. You definitely would love to have a person like Sugrīva in your army, isn't it? I mean, who needs an army when you have a person like Sugrīva with you? This is friendship, right? This is how friendships are maintained. That's why the greatest friendships, in the list of greatest friendships, Rama and Sugrīva, they stand out. Sugrīva Rama pranaya prasange vamani netrani samam spuranti. This is the reason why in Kishkindha Kanda, Valmiki put so much of onus on Sugrīva and Rama's friendship, because he's showcasing it. And Rama himself already proclaimed, not every friend is like you, Sugrīva. He already said that. And this is the true test. What a testimony, what a character Sugrīva is. And then the focus shifts to the natural omens that were in place on that particular day all around Lanka. Another, are you observing how Valmiki makes this shift? He is a brilliant orator when he explains that different kinds of mandalani vichitrani sthanani vidhani cha gomutrakandi. I'm just going to list you the kind of formations that both Sugrīva and Ravana did when they were engaged in a duel. Gomutraka, Chitra, Gata, Pratyagata, Tiraschina, Vakragati, Parimoksha, Prahara, Varjana, Paridhavana, Abhidravana, Aplavana, Avasthana, Vigraha, Paravritta, Apavritta, Upadruta, Avapluta, Upanyasta, Apanyasta, and the list goes on. That's Valmiki for you. And immediately he shifts, he becomes so accurate in his narration. He says that Krurah Kruram Pravarshante Mishram Shonita Bindubhi. The clouds are raining blood drops of blood on Lanka. And this was visible to Rama and Lakshmana. So they both discussed that this is the right time for us to attack Lanka. It means that if there are blood rains on a city, it means that the city is going to fall very soon. It's common sense back in those days. Nowadays, you need weather people, some scientists to do research and come up with a paper, and then we all believe. It was common sense back then because they studied nature. They were associated with nature that closely that nature gave them hints all the way. Okay, and then Vanaranam tu Shatrimshat Kotyaf Prakhyata Yuthapaha. This is where the number comes in, the number that I mentioned. 36,000 crores was the number of Vanaras in their army. And Rama says that in each and every gate, place at least 2 to 3 crores of Vanaras. 2 to 3 crores of Vanaras were deployed in each and every gate. I mean, we cannot imagine the magnanimity of this war. That is why the poets have failed to capture it. A famous poet said that Gaganam Gaganakaram. Can you give an example for how big or how large the sky is? You cannot. Gaganam Gaganakaram. Sky is as big, as huge as sky. Sagara Sagaropamaha. The same thing is applicable for the ocean as well. Ocean is as big, as deep as an ocean. You cannot give any other example for that. Sagar Jaisi Aankho Wal, that's a foolish word. You don't have to pay attention to that. Sagar Jaisi Aankho Wal. Nana. Sagara Sagaropamaha. And then he comes with the punchline. Rama Ravana yor yuddham. Rama Ravana yor yuddham. He's a modern poet, by the way. Like, 15th, 16th century poet. So he had heard the story of Mahabharata as well. 18 Akshavinis. What 18 Akshavinis? Rama Ravana yor yuddham. Rama Ravana yor yuddham. There can never be a yuddha like Rama Ravana yuddha. Because it had everything. Okay. And then he asked particularly for Sushena and Jambavan. I want to mention this point because it was mentioned by Rama in the later half. He did not ask these two veterans of war to be in any formation. He kept them as a, what do we call that? Backup. He kept them as backup because they were well trained. They were veterans of war. So you put veterans of war in the backdrop, in the background work of a war. And they were good with people, with treating people who are hurt. So Rama particularly asked for Sushena and Jambavan, Aduran Madhyame Gulme, Tastho Bahu Balanugaha. He asked them to stay very close to people, and they were like floaters. They used to roam around the entire formation so that they can treat the hurt, they can treat the injured. This is vision. This is visionary. Do you know what Ravana had given instructions to his army? Anybody who dies, throw them into ocean. Do not burn them. Do not give them any sort of salutations or proper sending of nothing. If you die like a peasant, throw him away to ocean. This was Ravana's orders. Whereas Rama had asked 2 of his war veterans to take care of all those who were injured and who were killed. Because he said that at the end of the war, we shall do the final rites of them. He did not have to do any final rites of any Vanara. Why? Because when the gods appeared in front of him, yes, that's why I tell you that Rama was not a god, according to Valmiki. He was a perfect man. And when gods appeared in front of him, and at the end of this war, you are high on adrenaline, and when the gods asked him, what do you need? He could have asked for the entire world to be his kingdom. He simply asked his dead soldiers to be awake again. That is leader. That is leadership. Never forgetting the people who gave their lives to you. Not building a memorial. No. A true leader never builds a memorial. A true leader brings back his fallen soldiers. That is true leadership. That is Rama. You see the benchmark that Rama has set for all the leaders. Nobody can even fathom, nobody can even imagine reaching up there. They cannot even prepare a ladder that can reach up there. Forget about climbing that ladder. There is no ladder that can reach the heights of Rama. Okay, fine. I'm moving on. Now is the time for last minute diplomacy. He sends none other than Angada. The amount of trust Rama has on this fellow. I tell you, you find a guy who has as much trust as Rama had on Angada in your life, you will be sorted for the rest of your life. If anybody tells you, I trust you, I believe in you, I have faith in you, your mentors, your motivators, shoot them, because none of them can come even close to how Rama mentored Angada. What a man. It's the beginning of the war, and he sends this small fellow, this young fellow, for diplomatic relations. He tells Angada, go and tell Ravana. Gatva saumya Daśagrivam bruhi madvachanat kape langhayitva purim lankam bhayam tyaktva gatavyatha bhrashtashrikam gata ishwaryam mursha nashtachetan. Ravana, we have crossed the ocean. We have done the unthinkable. We are here and we are going to kill you. Surrender, otherwise you are going to fall, my friend. You are definitely going to fall. The message that Rama sends, you know a taste of Rama's medicine when he sends message. When he sent that brutal message, Saraswati ji is not here today, so we can say it's a gentle reminder, a brutal reminder to Sugrīva. Imagine what kind of a message Rama could send to Ravana. When he could send that kind of a brutal reminder to Sugrīva, just multiplied by 1,000 times the kind of message that he sends to Ravana. Whatever sins, whatever crimes that you have committed in the past, aaj aa gaya hai uska paisa vasool karne ka. When today is the day that you pay for all the crimes that you have committed over your life. Whatever the pride that you had because of the Varadanam, because of the boon that you received from Brahma, the validity is over, my friend. You are going to fall today. Why? Because I am standing here. I am your death. Yasya dandadharasteham ahante dandadharaha. Dandadhara is the word for Yama. I am your death. This is the kind of message you send to an enemy. Not threatening them that, we will stop water. Jao yaar. What? We will stop water. You send him, I am your death. But that famous Oppenheimer thing, I am death or something message in when he did that atom bomb and all. That's how you send a message. Dandam dharyamanastu lanka dvare. And where am I standing? I'm standing right at your doors. Right at your doorstep. I'm standing holding my bows and arrows to kill you, to finish you. Okay? Nate charanam abheshi tvamadayatu maithilim. If you do not come to me now, if you do not surrender to me, my wife, then you will be finished. Nahi rajyam adharmena bhoktum kshanamapi tvaya. And even here he has a teaching, Rama. He says that even for a minute second, you nobody is able to sit on the throne with adharma. Adharma would not allow you to sit on the throne even for a fraction of a second. The teaching there. Even if you have an army with you, you cannot rule. Even if you, and the last line, I Shapat, this is the last line I'm going to read from Rama's message to Ravana. He says that, Yadyavishasi lokastrim, even if you wander around all three realms of this world, by becoming a bird, becoming a pigeon, by becoming a sparrow, that's what he means. Even if you disguise yourself as a sparrow and try to roam around this world, I will find you, I will kill you. That is Rama's message to Ravana. Yadyavishasi lokastrim pakshi bhuto nishachara mama chakshuf patham prapya najivan pratiyasyasi. Ek baar mere aankhon ke samne aa jao. Just appear in front of me for a second. You will not go back alive. What a message. I mean, if I was Ravana, I would be surrendering right now. Because nobody dares send a message like this to Ravana, the mighty Ravana. And whom has he sent? Angada. Oh, you should see the majestic way how Angada approaches them. He goes there, walks right into the Sabha Bhavanam of Ravana, stands there, utters his name. If you might have heard, Yadite Shrotramagatah, one of Valmiki's signature style of saying this, Yadite Shrotramagatah, you might have heard my name. I'm not saying that this is my name. I am called as Angada. I am the son of Vālī. I think you must have heard my name. The way he is introducing himself, amazing. And don't try this trick in your interviews. Going in front of an interviewer and please introduce yourself. My name is Viśvāmitra. You must have heard about me. That doesn't work. Because we are not Angada, you see. And he said that all the message that Rama gave, I'm not going to repeat it. So he narrated it to Ravana. Now there was no Vibhishana here to stop Ravana from killing the messenger. Now, Ravana gave an order that kill this fellow. Immediately, 4 of them strangled Angada. He was caught. Contrary to the popular belief that people have that Angada kept his right foot and they could not shake his right foot, and nothing happened like that. Okay, Angada was strangled by 4 mighty Ravana's warriors because he waited for that to happen. Because he wanted to show off Angada. He waited for them to hold him, and when they held him, Valmiki says that Balam darshaitum viro yatudhana ganetada, to show off his strength. What did he do? Satan bahudvaya saktan adaya pataganiva. He took them as if they, all 4 of them, were birds with him. He flew. He jumped and he flew, Angada. I'm just trying to describe each and every character that Rama had at his disposal. At the end of the day, you put your, you bet on your people. You believe in your people, not strategies. You believe in your people. How many leaders believe in their men? Like Rama did. Rama had not seen Angada fight. He did not even see, he did not even know how Angada has learned his warfare. From whom has he learned? But the amount of confidence that this fellow is showing in his people, that's what makes him a leader. Okay. And then he broke through that ceiling wall, Angada. Just the sheer strength of this fellow. Along with those 4 people, he broke through the ceiling wall and he came back to Rama's army. Ravana was furious. Now, how did this happen? Like one small fellow, he's running so much of destruction in my place. Like everything was done. Now begins the war. Officially, the war begins. Lankam prati vanaranam akramanam. In the 42nd sarga of Yuddhakanda, this is where officially the war begins. So it has exactly took me 50 minutes to bring us on the verge of the beginning of the battle. Okay. The battle started. There is not much to explain about battle. He fought them, they fought them, so and so, so and so. It goes on and on and on and on. If you're interested in all these things, if you want to know, if you want to learn more names of indigenous weapons that were used back in those days, you can refer to these chapters, starting from chapter number 42. Thank you. I think, there are 5 messages here. Maybe, oh, is this the number that has been answered? Can you please reiterate that shloka about that friendship? Friendship. Oh, okay. Sugrīva Rāma pranaya prasange vāmāni netrāni samam sphuranti. Rajiva hema jvalanopamani. He said that Sītāpaharanam Daśaratha. 3 people felt tremors when Rama and Sugrīva joined hands. Sita, Kapindra is Vālī, Daśaratha is Ravana. All 3 of them simultaneously at the same time, they felt tremors. Where did they find the tremors, or where did they feel tremors? Vāmāni netrāni samam sphuranti. Their left eye started to flutter at the same time. See, it is a good omen if the left eye flutters for a woman, and it's considered bad if it flutters for a man. Vālī and Ravana, they felt that their left eye is starting to flutter right at the moment when Rama and Sugrīva met, and they legitimized their friendship. The power of friendship. And these days, when 2 people meet, when they shake hands, nothing happens. Ek patta bhi nahi hilta hai. But when Rama and Sugrīva met, when they legitimized their friendship, the thrones of Vālī and Ravana, they started shaking. That's the power of friendship. Okay, I hope you got the shloka now. Okay, and then this session is interesting. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Ravana is even more worse than Parvez Musharraf during. yeah. Of course. Ravana is a absolutely disgusting fellow, I should tell you. Okay, with this brief break, we can start again with we can restart the war. Now, everybody found their partner, the opposition, because vivadascha yayoreva samambalam. Whether it is marriage or fighting, it always needs to happen with equal weighted people, who have equal weightage. You don't fight, Gubbi Mel Brahmastra. You don't fight a small sparrow and show off your strength against a sparrow. If you are good enough, you fight a man. Okay. So everybody found their partner. You should see, I will give you a list who fought with whom. It's very interesting. And again, excuse me for repeating the same word again and again, and showing off, rubbing off my likeness or my liking towards Angada on you people. I know I deliberately did that with Bharata once. I don't know how many of you liked Bharata before, but I forcefully rubbed Bharata's love that I have in my heart all over you, I believe, and I don't apologize for that. The same thing for Angada here as well in the warfare. Do you know who Angada was fighting? Indrajit, none other than Indrajit. You just see the confidence that this fellow has. If you remember that young Virat Kohli, the aggressive Virat Kohli that the people of India, half people of India, many people of India are so fond of. You multiply Virat Kohli's aggression into 100 times, you get Angada. That's how skillful, aggressive, and brilliant Angada was. So he was fighting Indrajit and Valmiki. For only these 2 people, he gives an example. He gives an upama, an analogy. What is that analogy? Triambakena yathandhakaha. Andhakasura Sudanaya namaha is one of the names of Parameshwara. Okay. Andhakasura was a demon. And Maheshwara, he fought him. Mahadeva, Lord Mahadeva fought him. So he gave that example that how Mahadeva fought Andhakasura, Angada was fighting Indrajit. What a brilliant analogy. He did not use the analogy even for Rama or Lakshmana, Valmiki, only for Angada in this chapter number 43 in Yuddhakanda. You can see this is shloka number 6 that I quoted. And then Prajanga was in Durdharshana. and Jambumali with Hanūmān, and Nikumbha with Neela, Tapana with Gaja, and so on. The list goes on like this. So they started fighting, and this is the first battle that happened in the famous Rama-Ravana Yuddha, the Great War. And the first battle was obviously won by the Vanaras, hands down. Ravana's army was thoroughly defeated, so soundly defeated that Ravana had never expected that they will be defeated like this. And they were totally outmaneuvered, outplayed by Vanaras. And they were so much involved in this warfare, in the battle, that they forgot that it's already Suryasta, it's already sunset. Usually the rule is that you are not supposed to fight after the sun sets. This is the first instance in history where you find that both the parties are involved so much that they forgot and they continued the war. I mean, if at all anybody deserves accolades for this kind of thing, it is Vanaras. Because Rakshasas, the Ravana's army is used to this kind of night warfare, but not Vanaras. Have you ever seen a monkey jumping from tree to tree in the night? They don't. They usually sleep at that time because they don't prefer running around in the night, because they are not human beings. Only we people, we run around nightlife, exploring nightlife. What nightlife? Night is for resting. So, but Vanaras had a different agenda this time. They were ready to take Ravana's army head on. They thought that in one day this war should be over. They thought that we will finish Ravana. Why make Rama, why trouble Rama? We will finish. That's the kind of confidence that a small foot soldier. Can you imagine the connection that these foot soldiers had with Rama? I have always wondered that a king may not possibly remember each and every person, but each and every foot soldier remembers Rama. He knows to whom he is fighting for. Where do people get this kind of selflessness? You talk about selfless love. What selfless love? This is selflessness. Like John, they're giving their life for the sake of Rama. Rama doesn't even know their name. He doesn't know who they are. That's why Valmiki, long ago in Ayodhya Kandam, he made a point, a beautiful point, which my teacher always used to remind us. Yascha Raman na pashyettu, he who does not see Rama. Yancha Rama na pashyati, whom Rama does not see. Ninditasya bhavel loke. Swatma pyenam vigrahatu. Valmiki says that his own soul will disgust him. Kyun paida ho gaye tum? Why are you even born? Why are you still alive? If you did not take a glimpse, if you did not see a glimpse of Rama, it doesn't matter if you look at Rama or Rama looks at you. The thing is, there should be Rama involved in you. That's the point. And that's exactly Murtima that had embodied in the entire army. They are like, we are fighting for Rama. We are like, we are the soldiers of Sugrīva fighting for Rama. We are going to win Lanka. That was their war cry. I forgot to mention that, but they had a war cry. And this was this war cry. We are the soldiers of Sugrīva fighting for Rama. We are going to win Lanka. And we are going to kill Ravana. Just imagine 36,000 crore Vanaras screaming at their highest pitch. And they are saying that we are going to kill you, Ravana. And they say that human beings can only listen to a certain decibel, and if it exceeds it, and they will lose their mind. 36,000 crore Vanaras screaming that we are going to kill you, Ravana. My God, that must be like, I don't know I cannot even imagine how Ravana must have felt. That's why I said, if I was Ravana and if I saw 36,000 crore Vanaras approaching me, I would surrender, because that's the wise thing to do. Anyway, but Ravana was not wise. But now comes a twist, because I told you very clearly that Naikanta Vijayam Yuddhe, war does not guarantee victory always. Now comes their most promising warrior. Indrajit had enough of this. He said, what is this? With me leading the line, Rakshasas are being defeated. Like black and blue, they were getting beaten black and blue. They were being killed mercilessly. And Indrajit decided to take matters into his own hand. He decided that bas, matlab bas, enough is enough. He took his special chariot and he started running across the battlefield in the night. And then he was given a check of reality. He realized that this is true. Why is his army getting beaten? He understood firsthand, ground report. He decided this is not how we are going to win this war. It's impossible to win against Vanaras if we continue to be nicer to them. Being nicer to Vanaras, according to Indrajit, was fighting them on their terms. You are fighting them like how they are fighting you. They might have made a plan. They might have had instructions from their commander that they are not going to disguise themselves. Our commander has not given any such ideas to us. He has not told us any such instructions. There goes Indrajit, disappears into thin air, pitch black. Vanaras were wondering, where are these arrows coming from? And Indrajit ran chaos across Vanara army. He was killing Vanaras for fun. He was shooting arrows like if they are searching somewhere, he was hitting them from elsewhere, because they were not even able to. It took them a few minutes, Vanaras. For Vanaras, it took them a few minutes to realize, to understand what was happening with them, because they were never subjected to this kind of warfare. They never had this kind of a thing. They always faced enemy man o man. Like samne se. Now this is a new thing. They cannot even look at the enemy. What is happening with them? And before they know, he hit them like, Indrajit. He hit them like Valmiki gives a description. How many arrows did he shoot into each and every important warrior of Rama's army? If you want, I can give you the list. It says that Yuthavana Pitan Sarvan Tadayat Sajaravani Neelam Navabhirahatya. 9 arrows shot directly into Neela, and 3 arrows into Mainda, 3 arrows into Dvivida, and Jambavan was hit with 1 arrow straight into his heart. Okay. And Hanūmān received 10 arrows, maximum number of arrows from Indrajit. Gavaksha, Sharabha also received 2 arrows each. Golangula, Angada. And they were like, he was raining arrows on them. And finally, what did he do? He had this a boon from Brahma. Okay, Brahmadattavaro Viraha, Ravanish Krodhamurchitaha. The word Krodhamurchita is the word that we need to focus here. He had gone crazy. He was mad by anger, angrily mad. Okay. He hit Rama and Lakshmana, both of them, with so many arrows that Valmiki gives an analogy. Have you seen an Ashoka tree? Especially when an Ashoka tree flowers, when an Ashoka tree blooms, it looks red all over, because Ashoka flower is red. It's blood red. Maybe this is the reason why the great King Ashoka was also a bloody leader. And just connecting the dots for people. He was not, he did not turn into a Buddhist after he saw the violence. He was a Buddhist and still killed thousands of men in the Kalinga. Okay, the history has painted him as an ambassador for peace. He was ambassador for nothing. Okay, sorry. This is just, a detour. We are not here to talk about the historical facts. Who cares about history, right? Ashoka is so great for us. That's why we have his symbol, the chakra. Chakra. Then moving on. Now, and finally, he says that he used Nagapasha. Nobody could escape it. And he imprisoned Rama and Lakshmana. First, Rama fell down. He could not stand. And our hero falls down. Okay, our hero falls down, but he stands up. Because he is not a superhero, you see. He's not wearing any mask. He does not belong to, he doesn't believe in kryptonite. He believes in Satya, he believes in Dharma. He is an embodiment of Dharma. So he falls, but he rises. Rama fell down and Lakshmana, both of them were caught, were imprisoned with Nagapasha. Indrajit returned back. The war on the first day ended late into the night, where Rama and Lakshmana were both fallen, unconscious. You see how the balance shifts. Right before the sunset, Vanaras had an upper hand. And at the end of the day, it was Indrajit who went home claiming victory. And there was a victory parade in Lanka. Not only that, not just that. Ravana ordered Sita to be taken in Pushpaka Vimanam along with other ladies to show Sita especially how his beloved husband has fallen down. And Ravana did not even have to lift a bow. That was his words. I did not even have to lift a finger and your Pati Dev has fallen down. Did I not tell you before that I am the strongest man and Rama cannot do anything to me? Look at this. He has already fallen down. He did not even use the word fallen down. Rama is already dead. And Sita could not believe this. I forget about Sita. You have to see how Sugrīva started crying. Vibhishana had to come down to calm Sugrīva down. Like, Bhai, you are the commander of this army. You are not supposed to lose your morale. If you cry, what will happen to the army? Don't cry. Vibhishana was the only sensible man at that time. The rest of them were like, either they had no interest because they were hurting so much. So many arrows were shot into them on first day. They were beaten and bruised. They were already almost broken. And especially when they saw Rama and Lakshmana sleeping there, unconscious. And how can you expect an army to lift itself up and fight and continue to fight when their leaders have fallen down? I just mentioned how much love, how much connection these soldiers had towards Rama. When you see your beloved leader fallen down like this, you would not have any courage left to continue with the fight. And Sugrīva was in no mood. Vibhishana calmed him down. He says, Alam trasena Sugrīva bāshpavego nigrihyata. Control your tears. Why? Because evam prayani yuddhani, this is war. This is how wars are fought. Why? Vijayo nasti naishthikaha. Victory does not stay on one side. It keeps on dwindling from one place to another place. So calm down. This is just a battle that we have lost. As soon as Rama and Lakshmana gain back their consciousness, they are going to deliver victory for us. Have some faith. Calm down. Mohameto prahasyete mahatmanu mahabalu. And then he used some mantra vidya. Another brilliant insight. Valmiki. Yeah, hands down to Valmiki. I have not read any other poet so brilliant than Valmiki. There can never exist a poet as brilliant as Valmiki. Says that Tata Salila Mahadaya. Vibhishana took some water. Okay. And then he chanted some mantra, Jajapa. He used some japa to that water. And Sugrīva netre dharmatma pramamarja Vibhishana. And he wiped Sugrīva's tears. Now, we must have seen that scene. We can imagine that scene. We might, wipe the tears of our children, of our brothers, of our sisters, of our family. And none can come close to what Vibhishana did to Sugrīva. They do not know each other that well. The only connecting point between Vibhishana and Sugrīva is Rāma. Sugrīva was the most vocal opposing person to get Vibhishana into his army. And now Vibhishana is wiping Sugrīva's tears. This is called as bonding. This is how you build a team. Management people, this is how you build a team. But I am Vālī. This is management. Look at the team spirit that Vibhishana and Sugrīva had. And Atisneho Pikalesmin, another brilliant line by Valmiki. Atisneho Pikalesmin Maranayopakalpate. Especially during this kind of a crisis, if you get too much attached at this time, it can lead to death. Maranayopakalpate. Even because this is war, this is battlefield. And you see, you just take this line, use this line as the big backdrop, and read Bhagavad Gita again. You will see Baap kaun hai. See, Valmiki. You see, one line is sufficient for Valmiki to finish off the entire thing. This Arjuna, this poor fellow, he was also crying, he was also cribbing. Klaibyammasmagamaf partha nahitattvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva. Where did this idea come from? Because if you cry on the battlefield, it can lead to death because atisneha, because you are too much attached. Isn't the entire narration, entire discourse, entire upadesham of Krishna to Arjuna was, don't get too much attached. Abhyasena ta kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. What is vairagya? This is detachment. You have to detach yourself and fight. Look at Vibhishana saying the same words to Sugrīva in a different way. Tasmad utsrjya vaiklavyam, the same exact word. Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva vaiklavyam. Sarvakarya vinashanam, because it destroys all works. So you should never lose your heart. Fine, moving on. And he gives him a hint. This is how you observe people and make a claim whether they are alive or dead. You don't need medical science for this. You don't need an MBBS for this. It's common sense. And Vibhishana says this. Naitat kinchana ramasya. This is nothing for Rama. Naitat kinchana ramasya. This is nothing. It's just a small mosquito bite. That's all. Don't worry. He's sleeping for a while. Don't worry. Naitat kinchana ramasya. Najaramo mumurshati. Rama is not a person who stays unconscious for a while, for a long time. It's simply impossible. How can you make such a bold claim? Who are you? What is your qualification? He says, Nahyanam hasyate lakshmihi. Hey, just look at his face. There is still that glow which is durlabhaya gatayusham. It is impossible to find in dead men. People who are dead do not have that kind of glow. And look at Rama's face, it is still glowing, which means he is still not dead. So stop crying. Okay. Tasmad ashvasayatmanam balanchashvasayasvakam. He says that look at your army. They are still thinking that I am the enemy, I am not the enemy. Okay. Tell your troops to control themselves. Get a grip on yourself. In other words, put them into right places, they will be fine. Meanwhile, Sīta, as I told you earlier, Sīta came here. Sīta saw this scene. And just imagine this as Sīta. For 1 year, for the past 1 year, she has been subjected to so much of torture. And she finally gets to see her husband. She finally gets to see Rama. And how does she see Rama? Sleeping unconscious on the battlefield, hit by arrows, shot by arrows. Like, there was not a single space left in Rama's body, Rama and Lakshmana's body, that was not hit by Indrajit. The cruelty with which Indrajit fought, Krodha Murchita, that's why I'd underline that word. Valmiki is a brilliant fellow because he had gone mad. He just wanted to finish them off. That's how he did. And Sīta almost lost herself. He said, what is the purpose of living now? Trijata was there. Luckily, fortunately, Trijata was there. You remember that lady, that Rakshasi lady, who narrated her dream to Sita? And she said, hey, look at his face. Look at Rama's face. Drishyamaneshu vaktreshu param bhavati. They are simply visagnyau patita vetau. They have fallen down unconscious. They are not dead. Naiva Lakshmir vimunchati. Same exact observation by another lady. This is the brilliance of Valmiki. Again, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. But see, he made Vibhishana say that, and now he is making Trijata say that, which means that Dvibadham Subadham. If two or more people agree to this, it means that it must be true. Because one man can falter, not all, isn't it? So that's how it is. And she says that Prayena Gatasatvanam Purushanam Gatayusham, if you stare into a dead body, okay, Drishyamaneshu Vaktreshu Param Bhavati Vaikritam. I do not want to spend much time on this because I know that it will garner plenty of questions. If you stare into a dead body, it creates a kind of vikara in you. That's all I'm going to say. What she is trying to mention here is, we have been looking into them, both Rama and Lakshmana, and not a single vikara has been noted here. You see, just kis level pe hai ye dono? The amount of knowledge that they both have, both Sita and Trijata, all the characters of Valmiki have regarding their own body, reading their body, comprehending nature's mystic ways. It's impeccable how brilliant these people are. So she says that we have been looking into them. Usually what happens when you look into a dead body, you experience some vikara. We have been looking into them. None of us, neither of us have experienced any vikara. What does it tell you? It tells you that they are not dead. Relax. And after this, Sita and Trijata went back. And immediately after this, dramatic effect by the poet. He could have gained consciousness when Sita was there, isn't it? But it was not to happen. It was not to happen at that moment. Immediately after Sita left, Rama gained consciousness. Now, Valmiki, how is this possible? Magically? No. Sthiratvat, Sattva Yogacha, Sharai Sandanito Pisanne, Rama Pratyabudhyata Viryavan. All those yoga people, this is for you. What is the purpose of practicing asana? Sthiratvat. Because that develops that core strength. And Rama had that core strength. Now, don't ask me that what asanas did Rama do every day. I don't know. That's irrelevant. Sthiratvat. He had that sthiratva, which is the end result of asana. Sthira sukham asanam, isn't it? That sthiryam is what asana brings. And Rama had that sthiratvat. And then the most important thing, sattva yogacha. He had that sattva, high levels of sattva. That's why he was able to recoup himself with such a short span, within such a short time. And then then opens the floodgates. He sees Lakshmana, younger brother, a man who has stayed with you since you were a child. Ever since you can recall and remember your life, Lakshmana was there. Your brother has been with you through thick and thin, through everything. If there was one man who never abandoned, never deserted Rama, it was Lakshmana. I know Rama has gained consciousness, but Lakshmana still is unconscious. He's lying there unconscious. Kinnume Sitaya Karyam. What should I do with Sita? Labdhaya Jivitenava. Even if I will answer this question right after this narration. Kinnume Sitaya Karyam. What will I do with Sita? Whether she is Labdhaya Jivitenava, whether she is found dead or alive, what will I do with her? Shayanam Yodhya Pashyami, Bhrataram Yudhinirjita. Because I am seeing at my brother, at my younger brother, the kind of love that Rama had for his brothers. You saw that he did not hug Bharata. He placed him on his lap. like how we place a small child on our lap. That's the kind of love he had for his brothers. And now he's seeing one of his younger brothers, Lakshmana, that too Lakshmana, lying there unconscious. And he says that, Shakya Sita Samanari, Martyaloke Vichinvata. You can find another lady like Sita if you search in this world. Na Lakshmana Samo Bharata, Sachiva Samparayika. You can never find a brother like Lakshmana. You can never replace a brother like Lakshmana. Lakshmana for Rama is irreplaceable. So much so that he says that Parityakshamyaham pranana, I shall give my life in front of all of you. Yadi panchatvam apannaha Sumitranandavardhanaha. If Lakshmana is to die today, I shall give my life right in front of all of you, because I cannot stay a second without my brother. That's Rama for you. That's the kind of love, that's the kind of compassion that Rama shared with Lakshmana. He said, how will I ever answer if I live and go back to Ayodhya? How will I ever face Kausalya? What will I answer when Sumitra asks me, where is my son Lakshmana? I took him, I took your son, and right in front of my eyes, he died. I could not protect him. Will I ever be able to say this to his mother? Katham vakshyami shatrugham bharatancha yashasvinam. When these two brothers ask, where is Lakshmana? What will I answer them? Dhingmam dushkrita karmanam anaryam. Rama calls himself Anarya. I am the most cruelest person alive. And I am a sinner, I am a criminal. Dushkrita karmanam, and dhikar hai mujhe. Why? Because here he is. Lakshmana is lying here, and I could not protect him. What kind of a brother am I if I was not able to protect my own younger brother? And without Lakshmana, this war is impossible to win. So he turns to, and he just last one line, Surushtena Pivirena. This is Lakshmana for you. Okay, there was one more episode where I told you that this defines Lakshmana's character. Nahan janami ke yure, nahan janami kundale, and nupure tvabhijanami, nityam padabhivandanat. When Sita's ornaments were presented to Rama and Lakshmana, Rama's eyes were filled with tears. So he asked Lakshmana to identify them. He showed that Keyuram. He said, Naham janami Keyure. How about the earrings now? Naham janami kundale. They showed him the anklets. Nupure tvabhijanami. Yes, I recognize them. These are Sita's. Why? Nityam padabhivandanat. He had not even seen Sita's face. What a fellow. And the same person, Lakshmana's character, add one more thing to Lakshmana's character, where Rama says that Surushtena Pivirena, even when Lakshmana was beyond his anger, when he got so much angry, I don't remember a single incident, Parusham Vipriyancha Pishravitam tu Kadachan. Never once did he speak ill to me, did he speak wrong to me. And never once Lakshmana disrespected Rama, ever in his life. You find me a brother like Lakshmana. I bet you can never find a brother like Lakshmana. What a man. For such an angry man who has so much of potential, who could have burnt down the entire world with his anger, not to utter a single word against his brother. I mean, his toughest test was when Rama asked Lakshmana to take Sita and drop off when she was pregnant. Lakshmana did not even question Rama at that time. Can you show any other man who has this much of conviction, who has this much of dedication towards a brother? Impossible. This is Lakshmana for you. Sorry, I told you that you will find a new Rama. Maybe you found a new Lakshmana here. I don't know, but hats off. It's amazing. how Valmiki has depicted Lakshmana. Now, if your eyes don't get wet in this chapter, you're not human beings. Sorry, you're not. It means that you have never understood what brotherhood is. Never understood what kind of that bonding that Rama and Lakshmana shared. What a character. And he turns to Sugrīva then. He says that you have helped me a lot. With folded hands, the mighty Rama. He turned to Sugrīva with folded hands. You have brought your entire army for me, entire army for my sake up until here. I thank you for your services. You may leave. Vibhishana, I am sorry that I could not keep my promise. Maybe this is the only time where I will not be able to keep my word. I promised you Lanka, but I don't think I can deliver it to you. I mean, you don't want your hero to go down like this, isn't it? Yes. Now comes Vibhishana. Steps in Vibhishana. What an important role Vibhishana plays. See, his screen time is very limited. He has appeared only in Yuddhakanda. His work gets over in Yuddhakanda. I mean, what a genius Valmiki is to introduce characters in one kanda, and he makes those characters take away the limelight. What writing this is. There is all these Oscar winners, no, bhaad mein jaye. They don't know anything. They should immerse themselves in Ramayana. Only then they will understand what is character development, how to write. Hats off to Valmiki. Okay, sorry. I think I'm getting too emotional and too much carried away. I'm extremely sorry. Now, Vibhishana, he comes to Rama and he takes a look at Rama's body. It has been pierced, all the parts. And then he tells him that, it's okay. Nothing will happen. You will be fine. At this time, when you have conviction towards your dharma, when you feel that you have been truthful in your life, when you have stayed truthful in your life, you have worked very hard, you have never cheated anyone, you have not gone out of your path, you have held the path of dharma, and still if you have fallen down, that's when divinity intervenes. Not when I feel helpless. And I want to highlight this point. Divinity does not intervene when I feel helpless, because I am a nobody. When I have worked, when I have given my 100%, and yet if I find myself down in a corner, even without asking, that's when divinity intervenes. A prime example, Garuda appears. The great Garuda appears right there, out of nowhere, out of blue. Garuda appears and immediately Lakshmana wakes up. And the Nagapasha that was used to imprison both Rama and Lakshmana were broken. The shackles were broken, and Rama and Lakshmana are free once again. And no, this is not magic. The power of Garuda is that it removes Nagapasha. He could have given them longevity of life, etc., but he did not. Do you know what Garuda does at that time? He points them towards Jambavan. He says that he is the man. Protect him, ask him, preserve him, because he's a doctor. He knows how to save lives. You tell me there is no magic involved here. There is no magic Kavacha Kundala here. Nobody is wearing any bloody Kundala or Kavacha here. Nobody is born from any Amshavatara here. And nobody is guided by any superior fellow here. He's all human, 100%, flesh and bones, just like I and you. That's Rama for you. This is the most humane epic that anybody can ever produce in this world. You don't even get a sense of divinity here out of here. It's all human. Because the God decided, because the Parabrahma decided, the Supreme decided that I have to walk the path and show people how it is done. Not give a sermon. Sorry, I'm not degrading it. I'm just trying to sway people away towards Ramayana because I am that passionate towards Ramayana. That I'm just presenting my case here. I mean, no disrespect to Vyasa or Mahabharata or any characters from Mahabharata. They are all brilliant characters, but not so brilliant in my eyes when compared to Ramayana, because this is the most humane thing that we will ever find. Our hero does not go to Indraloka. Our hero does not go to Patala Loka. He does not marry a woman for fun. He does not bet his entire family. He doesn't know such thing. He fights for his people. He fights for his family. And he is ready to give up everything if his family is not there with him. If this is not what we want in today's world, I don't know, why are we still alive? Okay. So Rama and Lakshmana are finally out of the shackles. You know, their imprisonment is broken. Nagapasha is out. Ravana hears this. Ab jaake Ravan ki fati. Now he is scared. He is like, no, this is gone. He had no clue whatsoever, Ravana. From this moment onwards, you see Ravana down the slope because he lost his mind. How can anybody come up after being bound by Nagapasha? How is it even possible? He is standing again. He thought that Rama was dead. He was a foolish man to think so because he had underestimated his enemy. The first wrong thing that Ravana did, and of many things, especially in this battle, the first wrong thing that he did was to underestimate Rama. And Rama came back. And then began the bloodiest of all wars. He sent Dhumraksha. Dhumraksha was killed by Hanūmān. Can you imagine when your hero rises? And this is not a hero, who does this, not that hero. And our hero does not need to do all those kind of nonsense things. He did not do his hands wide open. No. And he remained true to his dharma. That's our hero. If anybody needs to be our hero, it is Rama. Because he is an embodiment of dharma. What else do we need in life? All right. So Dhumraksha came, he fought valiantly down. Who killed him? Hanūmān. And then Vajradamshra was sent by Ravana. Again, Vajradamshra fought with many Vanaras. Angada killed him. Valmiki mentions only the duel between Angada and Vajradamshra in one chapter, chapter number 54. 37 shlokas dedicated to Angada's heroics against Vajradamshra. Enough is enough. Might be you're thinking, okay, fine, we understand that Angada was a great fellow. You cannot get enough of Angada throughout the war. If you had let him, if Rama had let him, I think Angada would have killed even Indrajit. The sheer power, the sheer dedication this fellow had, 100% pure hard work, heart, 100% heart, Angada. And no kalabarike, nothing, no adulteration, unadulterated, 100% dedication, 100% hard work, Angada. And these are the kind of people who should be our role models, isn't it? Unfortunately, we have film stars, celebrities as our role models. They are idiots. They are people who wear color on their face to earn a living. They are fooling themselves, and they are not only are they fooling themselves, they are fooling people as well. These are the real heroes. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot a question. There was a question here. Oh, okay. What was the question? After dead body will get vikara, or the person who see the dead body? I think what Trijata was trying to mention here was, if you stare into a dead body for long, it initiates a vikara in the person who is looking into that dead body. That's what she meant. And it is true. And there is plenty of science behind dead bodies as well. Even sometimes even dead bodies turn into vikriti. I mean, they also turn otherwise, and that denotes their uttaragati as well. Of course, we have Jyotisha as well to explain what kind of Uttaragati is this Jiva going to get, which is 100% accurate. But again, Dvibadham, Subadham, you need 2 or more evidences to substantiate your claim. So you need to have this kind of evidences as well. So most of the times, if a person has achieved in the sense, car, bungalow, money, luxury, not that kind of achievement. If they have achieved their true purpose of human life, if he was a yoga sadhaka, again, yoga sadhaka does not mean asana expert, not that kind of yoga sadhaka. A yoga sadhaka is one who has understood what is the true essence of life, what is his true form, what is his original form. If he has attained that samadhi, and if you stare into that body, it won't generate that kind of vikara. But if you stare into any other body, it kind of generates vikara. Akala mrityu. If someone has been subjected to akala marana, then if you stare into that body, it generates vikara. If a person has died of natural causes after having fulfilled their their life amount of years that have been allocated to them, then it won't generate any kind of vikara. So there are differences there. So what Trijata meant was, if you stare into, because Rama was not meant to die at that age. It's quite obvious, it's an akala marana. So if it is an akala marana, there are so many things that are untold by Valmiki in those couple of lines. We need to read beyond those lines. Only then we will be able to join the dots. So if this is considered as akala marana, then how come it is not generating any vikara to us? Because he is not dead. He was unconscious, but our hero has risen. And only because Rama is back to his full fitness and he has regained his rigor, these people, Vanaras, are back to their form. They are killing these the army that Ravana is sending, each and every person that Ravana is sending. See, he forgot the formation now. Here is where Ravana went wrong. He should have stayed with the formation, right? Now all formation is gone because he had a victory parade. He thought that he had already won the war. Such a foolish fellow, I tell you. So much so for being a Shiva Bhakta, so much so for being a great Vainika, so much so for being good in, what is that, Rajaniti, that Rama sent Lakshmana to learn Rajaniti from Ravana. That's a joke. I mean, if you have to send anyone to learn something from someone, then that person should be better than you. Who better than Rama to teach Lakshmana about Rajaniti? Do you not remember the 100th sarga of Ayodhya Kanda, the Kachit sarga, where only in the disguise of asking questions to Bharata, Rama gave a brief summary of Arthashastra. Even the great Arthashastra Panditas are scratching their heads to understand what Rama meant here. 14 Rajadoshas he mentions. 14 royal mistakes that no king should ever commit. Your entire Arthashastra is sufficed there. That was Rama for you. Why would he send Lakshmana, his brother, his younger brother? He's almost like his child, like his kid. It is him. It's like, Bahishchar of Pranaha. In one place, Rama calls Lakshmana as his Bahishchar of Pranaha. Nadadadu Vajiva. If you want to see my life walking, see Lakshmana. That's how much Rama looked after Lakshmana. That's how much Lakshmana meant to Rama. And he will send him to Ravana, the most foolish guy ever in the history of mankind. So you know how to dismiss these kind of theories now, because it doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't go in synchronization with the story that Valmiki has narrated. And many people, after I say this, they come up with the question that why should we consider Valmiki's version of Ramayana as the authentic source? Because these people are divided into 2-3 categories. One category is historians. I hate them. Okay, they just simply take that Ramayana's date go back to this, that. I don't care. Okay, Valmiki is the original author. He is the authentic author of Ramayana. I tell you, you disprove me on this theory, I will stop talking for the rest of my life, because he is the only person who got that Upadesham from Narada. And then he did due diligence. He went to Samadhi. He saw each and every movement of Rama, Lakshmana, and all the characters in his heart. He envisioned them in his heart. He brought them out. He created an epic. And then he passed it on to Lava and Kusha. Do you know what a humongous task that is? Only a rishi can do that. And Valmiki was a rishi. And the rest of the people who have narrated the story of Rama, Rama Katha, they are all authors. You see the difference here? There's a daylight between these two sets of people. Valmiki is Valmiki. There is no one else who can reach there. So Valmiki's version is the authentic one. You disprove me on this one, I will tell you. No one can. Because he mentions that Prachinagreshu darbheshu dharmena anvekshate gatim. Tapasya, he had that tapasya. Oh, sorry. Okay. So then Akampana, there comes a line, a list of warriors from Ravana's end. Akampana comes, and Akampana was killed by Hanūmān, and Prahasta was sent. Prahasta was killed by Nila. And once Prahasta was down, it's almost like, 4 or 5 of his major warriors, the people whom Ravana trusted the most, who were never defeated on any battlefield, they were all down. Not down, they were killed. They are no more. They are finished. Ravana decided that this is getting serious. Indrajit was given vacation leave because of his fake achievements. So Indrajit was not there to be sent. Ravana decided to take matters into his own hand. Today is the day the world will know what Ravana can do. Out comes Ravana for the first time onto the battlefield. For the very first time. Never before Ravana had stepped in. Navagnya ripave karya. Yairindra balasadanaha sudita sanyapalo me sanuyatrasya kunjaraha. Finally, Ravana speaks sense. The first sensible words that Ravana has spoken so far is this line. Navagnya ripave karya. You should never underestimate your enemy. First words, first sensible words that Ravana spoke. Okay. Why? Because it's these enemies, I'm talking about the enemies who killed Prahasta. I mean, Prahasta was his most trusted fellow. He was his henchman. He was his right hand during battles. And that Prahasta has been killed by the enemies. So I should not take these enemies lightly. So I will go with proper strategy. He calls upon his men to follow into the battlefield. And by God, they all did. Out comes Ravana onto the battlefield, killing thousands and thousands of Vanaras. And it's like, they were like mosquitoes to him. It's like, just if you are walking through a jungle, you simply cut down the, to make pathway. That's how Ravana walked into the battlefield. And after that, who was the first person that Ravana's eyes were set on in that battlefield? None other than Vibhishana. That should have been a sight, isn't it? That's a scene. The first thing that you see is your brother who left you and joined Rama and is fighting you. A dramatic scene. People must learn how to do drama, or how to write drama, how to visualize drama from Valmiki. Nobody does better than Valmiki. He doesn't overdo it. See, that's why it is not cringy. Like, all the movies that we watch, the dramatic movies, they're all cringy because they overdo it. They don't know where to put a full stop or a comma. All right. Aditya ahodipta mahateja ravano rakshaseshwara. After that, Rama was standing right next to Vibhishana. He asked, is that Ravana? Yes, because he had only seen a glimpse of Ravana, and then he was involved with Sugrīva's fighting. And he was like, what is Sugrīva doing? So Rama was worried in that. So he could not get a proper look at Ravana. Now on the battlefield, Rama is getting a proper look at Ravana. So he says, Ahodipta mahatejaha. Oh, what a glorious man Ravana is. Okay. Adityaiva dushprekshyo. Rashmibhir bhati Ravana, Adityaiva dushpreksha. And like how we cannot stare into the sun, likewise, nobody can stare into Ravana. That's how good Ravana was. And this has been repeated again because the Hanūmān did also mention the same thing. Aho Rupa Maho Dhairya Maho Sattva Maho Gatiki, Aho Rakshasa Rajasya, Sarvalakshana Yuktata. I mean, he was filled, Sarvalakshana Yuktata, the most complete man that you can visualize was Ravana. He had everything. Yadyadharmona Balavan. Only if adharma was not there. And when we say this, I know how people turn. That's why I usually do not use this line much often, because this creates a kind of sympathy in some people when they listen to this kind of line. I have experienced it. I have seen people turning that it's only because of adharma, because they undervalue adharma. They don't know the value of dharma. That's why they sympathize with Ravana. He was a great man, all by for adharma. It's okay. Only one small issue, no? It's okay. We will adjust. What adjust? He was an adharmika. He had no dharma at all. Hey, dharma is life. Dharma is everything. Dharmo vishvasya jagatah pratishtha. Dharme satyam pratishthitam. Dharme vishvam pratishthitam. The entire world is on dharma. And he did not have that dharma. How can you sympathize with that fellow? And later on I started correcting and adding, this is an addendum to that particular phrase. Because if I only use that phrase, many people will go home thinking that Ravana was a good fellow. How they think about Karna, you see, sympathizing with Karna. The same thing will happen with Ravana. I don't want that papam on me. I want that fellow to be forgotten. I want that fellow to be hated, to be disliked, to be set as an example of how not to be in life. If you want to be a great Vainika, you have plenty of other examples. If you want to be a Shiva Bhakta, why don't you consider Markandeya? Is Markandeya dead for you? Markandeya, why can you not consider Markandeya as the great Shiva Bhakta, and why it has to be Ravana is my question. There are so many great Shiva Stotras, I tell you, when Shivratri is coming, I tell you that there are so many great Shiva Stotras written by the likes of Adi Shankara. Vyasa has also written. Gangadharangaramani Jatakalapam, Gauri Nirandara Vibhujata Vama Bhagam. All these things are written by so many great poets, and you want to chant that Jatatavi Galajjala Pravaha Pavita Sthale. Why? It is written by Ravana. So what? It is written all over it. You can see Ravana smeared over that stotram. It's only Ravana. It's only show off. That's all. Damat 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 daman ninadavat damar vayan chakara chanda tandavantanotuna shiva shivam. What will you get by chanting this? Nothing. Stop chanting that. There are plenty of better stotras. Choose any one of them. Sorry, I just cannot take it when people say that, he was not a great Shiva Bhakta. It's unfortunate that his stotram has survived this long. And we have lost so many gems along the way. I don't know how it survived. Ramayana is black and white. Be like Rama, do not be like Ravana. Ramadivad vartitavyam, na Ravanadivad. That's the message. Okay. All right. Fine. And now, they also say, well, no, Mahanyasam is not by Ravana. Yaar. No. Mahanyasam is not by Ravana. Don't get into that kind of foolish arguments. Forget about that. Okay, moving on. Now, Ravana, I know I have 6 more minutes. We will come to the story. Don't worry. Now, Ravana is moving along the battlefield. He finally sets his eyes on the monkey, which had created so much of chaos in his kingdom a few months ago. Just a couple of months ago, that monkey had arrived here and burned down his entire kingdom. He sets his eyes on Hanūmān, and they had a fight. Ravana versus Hanūmān. What a sight that is, and what a fight it was. And you should definitely listen to this conversation between Hanūmān and Ravana. So Ravana says that Daśagriva samadhuto yatha bhumitale chalaha. I mean, they involved themselves in this Mushti Yuddha, another duel that happened between Ravana and Hanūmān. Okay. And Hanūmān used all his power, all his strength, and he gave one punch on Ravana's chest. And Ravana was like, shaken for a moment. That's all what happened to Ravana. Daśagriva samadhutaha yatha bhumitale chalaha. You see, when the earth tremors, when the earth quakes, the mountain still stands. It doesn't fall down. Of course, it shakes for a minute. That's how Ravana was. He was shook for a minute. He was shaken for a minute, but he did not fall down. Sangrame tam tat. But the rishis, the devatas, everybody who were witnessing this war, they were so happy to see that Ravana was shaken by Hanūmān. Can you imagine this? This was breaking news for that day. Day 2, Ravana was shaken by Hanūmān. Breaking news. Rishayo Vanara Siddhaha Nedur Deva Sahasurehi. So for a moment, it took a while. It took a while for Ravana to recoup himself. And then Ravana Vakyam Abravit. It's very rare that you get accolades from your enemy, isn't it? Sadhu Vanara Viryena Shlaghaniyo Sime Ripuhu. He says this to Hanūmān. Sadhu. Well done. Shabash. Kya baat hai. Shabash, Hanūmān. You have fought very well. Ravanena iva muktastu marutir vakyam abravit. Hanūmān was not going to listen to and take this as a compliment. Do you know what Hanūmān said? It would make you jump from your seat, I tell you. Dhigastu mama viryasya yatvan jivasi Ravana. Dhikar hai mere parakram par to jo tum abhi bhi jeevit ho. You are still alive. Dhikar hai aisi strength par, aisi power par. I don't like my power because you are still alive. Sakrittu praharedani durbuddhe kim vikathase. Hey, what are you talking? Fight me one more time, I will finish you off. These were the words of Hanūmān. Sakrit praharedani. Just hit me one more time. Dekhna is baar agar tumko mara nahi to. Ravana was not taking any chance. He said, it's okay, chalo. It's okay, you rest. You have been fighting. You need some rest. And then he turned his attention towards none other than Lakshmana. You see the ranking that he's going through. He's going through all the ranks of Rama's army. So he finally went there. And the Neela was, in the process, he hit them. He shot several arrows to several people. All was that done. And then he finally set his eyes on Lakshmana. He said, oh, you are Lakshmana. Today I'm going to kill you. Ravana, a man of fancy words, a modern day hero words. And the proper reply from Lakshmana, Rajan Nagarjanti Mahaprabhava. Rajan Nagarjanti Mahaprabhava. People with might, people with strength, people with power. If I use the word powerful people, then KGF 3 might use this line. So that's why I'm scared. But dirty little dialogue bazi. So powerful people, they don't garjanti, na garjanti. They don't shout, they don't make noise. Powerful people don't make noise. Okay, what do? Vikathase papakritam varishtha. You are simply claiming that you are the greatest warrior, blah blah blah. You're simply making noise. Great men don't make noise. Fight, stand and fight me today. He did. And he hit a Shaktiyayudha on Lakshmana. The Shaktiyayudha, which was gifted to him, which was given to him by Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. And he hit that arrow, that Ayudha, that weapon on Lakshmana. Lakshmana did not even, fall down. He did not even flinch. He stood there as it is. Lakshmana for you. We are building up to Lakshmana's prowess. This month is Lakshmana's month. You will witness that. Okay. And then Ravana says, these same hands which once uprooted Himalayas, which once uprooted Mandara, which once uprooted Meru, which once uprooted the entire world along with Devatas. But how am I not able to remove this Lakshmana, this one fellow? I cannot even move him out of my sight. And these are the same hands, these are the same shoulders that lifted, that moved the earth. This is what happens when the Greek gods like Hercules and Zeus come against our indigenous heroes like Rama and Lakshmana. This is the kind of story that people need to tell their children. Okay, not the stories about Avengers or those dirty little people. These are the stories that we need to tell our children. What strength Lakshmana had, what strength Rama had. And he hit back, Lakshmana hit back. Ravana for a second fell unconscious. Can you believe it? For a second, Ravana fell unconscious. But at the same time, he was facing plenty of attack from Rama's end as well. Now he finally told Lakshmana that you are still a child, you're still a kid. I don't want to fight children. Let me find your brother. Foolish fellow. He went to Rama and he was thoroughly defeated, like soundly defeated Ravana. When he finally fell unconscious, his charioteer, his chauffeur, had to take Ravana away from the battlefield just to protect his life. That was the situation when Ravana, for the first time when he came to battlefield, he was thoroughly defeated, humiliated, and sent back. Rama said that, no, take him back. I don't want to kill Ravana when he's down. That is our hero. All right. A hero who does not shoot arrows at a person who has fallen down. I said that take him back. And he could not take this humiliation anymore. What did Ravana do at this moment? He sent his soldiers, he sent a part of his army to wake Kumbhakarna up from his sleep. And we will stop the story right here. So Kumbhakarna is awoke and he walks to Ravana. Okay, if you have any questions, we will take a couple of questions. Oh, there are so many messages. It is irony that in most of the TV serials, it is idiotically shown that Rama sends Lakshmana to Ravana. Yeah. I told you, people these days, they simply, these days, they are sending, so many people are sending me that that video where one person has claimed that there are in one Adbhuta Ramayana or some Ramayana, there are two Ravanas. Only one Ravana is sufficient, okay? It's like, he had split personality. One Ravana was good, one Ravana was bad. It's not a 70s movie, double acting, junior NTR. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. After RRR, this Rajamouli will create another movie called as, RR, Ravana Ravanam. Nonsense here. No, that's ridiculous. There is only one Ravana. Okay. As there is only one Rama. Yes, and then stotras should elevate our mind, as absolutely. Oh, sorry if I have hurt anybody's feelings regarding Shiva Stotrams. I have no problem in people chanting Shiva Stotram. You should chant Shiva Stotram. It's an auspicious thing. The word Shiva means auspicious. So everyone should have that auspiciousness. But why are you so hell-bent on chanting something that is written by such a fellow? Why can't you find a better alternative? When there is a pool of so many stotras, why choose only that is created by Ravana? I don't understand this logic at all. Okay, and then Mahanyasam, I think, how he continued the war even if he did not win a single battle. He did win a single battle. He did win a battle, isn't it? He defeated small people, like, Gaja, Gavaya, Gavaksha, Sugrīva. All these people were hit by arrows. He shot arrows at them, like how Indrajit did. Oh, it's not over yet, my friend. It's not over yet. And Rama and Lakshmana are, our hero does not fall once in before the climax and he wakes up and starts hitting, like, in the mud, his hand is there, and then he wakes up like this and hits people. No, 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 no. That's not our hero. Our hero falls twice because he is human. He falls twice and he rises twice. It's only one part of the story. And still plenty more to go. Picture abhi baki hai. Yeah. Sir, I wonder how do even this idea come to people's mind that Ravana is a true Brahmin? From where? There should be some evidence. There is evidence. He's called as Paulastya. Pulastya was a Prajapati, isn't it? So Pulastya is one amongst the 7 rishis. So Pulastya is a rishi. So he is a Brahmana. There is no doubt about that. Okay. If there are no more questions, then I think we can end the session. Historians also say there are alterations in present version of Ramayana. Yeah, of course there are. Not just alterations, they have added few more, prakshipta we call it as. We have they have added few more stories into this and all these things. And there are controversies regarding that. See, if you are a researcher and if you want to spend time battling or going through the jungle of these controversies, you are welcome to do. It clearly shows that you are only wasting your time. You're only wasting your valuable time and effort. The concern is, the true researcher would focus on understanding the heart of Ramayana, the heart of Valmiki. How many of us, after doing so much of research and all these things, if I say that, if we go through all the histories, inscriptions, all these things that people tell you, the fancy terms, will it help us to understand? Did it help us to gain momentum, even a small step ahead in terms of understanding the essence of dharma in relation to Ramayana? See, the historians will give a lengthy speech and they will mention dharma for 2 seconds, whereas it should be the other way around. History is secondary. The primary focus of Ramayana is dharma. If we are not able to focus on that, it means that we are light boys, but we don't know where to focus. We are pathetic light boys. That's all. What is the meaning of Ravana? It has been told once, but I forgot. Ravana means he who cries loudly. Terrorizing the world. Whose crying terrorized the world. Numbers, lakhs and crores mentioned literally in one. Yes, sir. Yes. It is mentioned literally. Dasasahasra Shatrimshat Sahasra Kotistu Vanaranam Balam Tatha. This is the line. I have quoted exactly from Valmiki's Ramayana. The numbers are actually written there. So there are no more questions. Then I think we can conclude this session for today. And next week, like 26th, I guess, 26th, we will meet again. 4th Sunday, we'll meet again. We'll have Kumbhakarana's death will happen. Eventually it will happen. And don't worry that, the title read Kumbhakaranavadham, but we did not even talk about Kumbhakarana. How was Kumbhakarana? I have no intention in glorifying the villains. I have all the intention in the world to glorify our hero, my hero. Okay, that should be the highlight. Thank you. Thank you. This is the kind of my friend has written. I got goosebumps today. That means my efforts are fruitful. We just need to replace our heroes. We have a very different view of heroes these days. That needs to be changed completely. If we do not start making Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, these kind of characters as our hero, then we will lose the battle eventually. So we must be vocal. My hero is not Harry Potter. I would definitely want to live long enough to see a day when a child comes up to me and tells that my hero is Nachiketa, my hero is Rama, my hero is Lakshmana. That would be a day worth living for. All our efforts, everything that we do is to ensure that this legacy is passed on. Then fall short of heroics. What are your thoughts? Unless we have, see, the idea of villainy is that it's an ongoing conflict, my friend. Rama and Ravana are here. If I have to draw a comparison with Veda, the most famous line that we will find in Vedas is throughout Brahmanas. You can find that Deva, Suras, Sanyata, Asan. The first thing that any Brahmana mantra, it starts with Deva, Suras, Sanyata, Asan. Devas and Asuras were in conflict. I mean, it's like, they never stop. Yes, they don't stop at all, because that conflict is within our mind. To be or not to be. That is Devaha and Asuraha. That is Rama and Ravana. The conflict is internal. It's not external. So we don't have to wait for a super villain to be born, to be raised, to be glorified. And then we don't have to wait for the super villain to fall down. We have the villainy in our mind. We just need to remove that villainy with the help of Rama, which means install dharma. I mean, it's already installed. Repair dharma. Use some antivirus. Get back the original dharma, and villainy will go away. The villain will fall, I assure you. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. See, it's like, entire Bhagavad Gita, this is my opinion. I have never said this line anywhere before today. I'm saying this out loud today. Gods must be crazy, or they must be very forgiving today. But they should be very forgiving today, because I believe that entire Bhagavad Gita is like a footnote to Ramayana. If this is the lengthier version, Bhagavad Gita is the short notes written, because you can find so much of compatibility, so much of commonality, similarities in both the works. Nobody can lift a finger and say that Ramayana does not preach or teach Vedanta. Only Bhagavad Gita teaches Vedanta. I disagree. I strongly disagree. Ramayana teaches Vedanta. It's just that we don't know how to. What is the line told by you is also protecting other sects of people? Hey, no. Dharma is natural condition. Yeah, if you have understood dharma, otherwise, please remove from your head all the other kinds of meanings that you have known about dharma. Dharma means natural condition. The condition. What is the natural condition of an eye? The ability to see, the ability to view. That is an eye's natural condition. And if I do anything to disturb that natural condition, then I am doing an adharmic activity. So dharma is a condition. Any activity that protects, maintains, preserves the natural condition is also called as dharma. That's how our many activities are termed as dharma, because the activity is not dharma. What that activity does to us is dharma. And what does that activity do? If that activity maintains the natural order, maintains the natural condition of each and everything that we have, then it is dharma. If it is disturbing the natural order, then it is adharma. As simple as that. So when it is said that swalpamapyasya dharmasya, it means that the kind of dharma that being truthful is our dharma, is our natural condition. We have learned to lie. It's a wrong learning. We have to unlearn it. That's all. As simple as that. So when we say swalpamapyasya dharmasya, it is like, all the 16 attributes that Valmiki listed out. This entire Ramayana is nothing but a vistara, what do you say it in English? An enhancement of those 16 attributes. Those 16 attributes, and if we can practice, if we can inculcate any one attribute in our life, that is sufficient for us to lead us towards the goal, towards the ultimate goal of life. One attribute, only one. And it should not be grayish. There is no such thing called as gray. There is not a single shade of gray. Forget about 50 shades. Not a single shade of gray. Either it is black or it is white. Either it is adharma or it is dharma. That's all. It can be interpreted both ways. No, it cannot be. It cannot be interpreted both ways. It can be interpreted only one way. A spade is a spade. A diamond is a diamond. That's all. Dharma is dharma. Adharma is adharma. That's it. Okay. So we have to practice that. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. All right. Okay. If you leave me, I will keep on speaking like this and enrage you and make you offended. So before I offend anyone else, thank you very much for patiently listening to me. You have been putting up with all my tantrums for the past 19 sessions. I cannot imagine 38 hours you have survived with me. So only a few more hours to go and we'll be done with that. So 10 more hours to go if I'm not wrong. Because 24 into 2 is 48. So we are already 19 into 2, 38. So 10 more hours to go and I think we'll be done with that. Okay. Thank you very much. See you in the coming week. Namaste.